welcome to the Sock Witchery YouTube channel. My name is Lindsay. I'm coming to you from Wisconsin, where I live with my husband Colin and our cat Gigi. You can find me everywhere on the internet as Sock Witchery, and I have linked below my Ravelry shop, my Instagram, and my Ko-Fi link. I'm glad you're here today. This is my first video for 2025. The last video I put up was my Operation Mountain to Molehill video. So just really quickly, if you missed that video, I have a gigantic pile of whips, like gigantic. The video I put in the last video doesn't really show like the depth to which it is gigantic. I am too scared to count how many things are in the pile, so we are just picking things and finishing them. That is the goal for 2025. Doesn't mean no new cast-ons. I have made a decision that for every like 10 things I finish, I get to have a new cast on. So we have finished 5 things, which we'll talk about today. So this video isn't so much a vlog or a podcast as it is a check-in. I personally don't like podcasting. I feel like it's too formal and rigid, and that's not what we're about here. We are fully be the chaos you wish to see in the world. And we kind of just roll with it. Sometimes I will put vlog footage in, but I haven't really vlogged anything. We've been here at home. I went back to work for a couple of days. I am the studio assistant / director of aquatics for Fangirl Fibers. And yeah, otherwise I have been here crafting and watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is the franchise I'm on right now. If you are new here, we watch a lot of Bravo shows and rot our brains while doing it. So, last episode, I believe I talked about 3 projects I wanted to have done. So I found my notebook, or I started my notebook. I did say this last time that I'm not a knitting journal kind of person. So I just have this notebook that I got at TJ Maxx last year, I think. And my multicolor clicky pen that I got in one of my advents this year. And I started my Mountain to Molehill notebook. So this is my entry for January. Now, as you can see, I have 5 projects with finished dates. Yep, 5 projects with finished dates. And then I've started project 6. So we're going to talk about those 5 finished projects. And then we'll talk about what I'd like to work on coming up here in the next week. Because again, I said in the last video, but in case you did not see it, I plan to do this every week to 2 weeks, depending on how productive and or busy I have been. But since it's January and it's cold and gross, we don't have a lot going on. So there's been lots of crafting time. And any activities we do have going on involved a lot of time to craft, such as being passenger princess or, you know, hanging out with friends and family who know that I craft. Everyone knows I craft. It's not really a secret. Anyway, let's talk about finished things. So the first thing I finished, and all my socks will be displayed on my Doctor Who sock blockers that were in the Doctor Who Advent from 2023 from Fangirl Fibers. These are my go-to blockers now. This first whip, I looked it up. I bought the yarn in 2022. And I'm not sure if I cast them on in 2022. I might have. Again, that's how insane this pile is. Just like I said in the last video, my biggest source of shame. But this is a finished pair of second breakfast socks. It's a pattern that is in my Ravelry shop. And this is the Boys for Now colorway from Lemonade Shop Yarns. You can tell that these are old because I actually did the 1x1 that the pattern calls for. I have been doing 2x2 instead. I knit these on a US 1 2.25 millimeter on magic loop. And this is the medium size of my second breakfast pattern. Eee. I also knit these on my Addie Rocket Squareds, which are these needles. If you've never seen them, let me get them untangled. But these have been, this and just regular normal Addie Rockets have been my needles for most of these projects that I've finished. So they look like this. They are square and they are textured. And they are supposed to be more ergonomic. I do agree with that my hands don't hurt. My hands don't really ever hurt from knitting just because of how I knit. I don't have a lot of movement in my hands when I knit, but I do find that it helps my tension and that they make really smooth stitches, or really smooth, like these aren't blocked, but they make nice stitches. So that's pair 1. Second breakfast socks, Boys for Now color, Lemonade Shop. dating back to 2022 to my knowledge. And I finished these on New Year's Day because I had started them before the video that came before this one I put up on, I think, New Year's Eve or the day before. And yeah, so I finished those, on November 1st. The next ones, and the first sock was completely done, and I cast on the second sock beginning to end. The next pair was cast on in May of 2024, so they're not as old. They were a whip that, again, the first sock was done, and I believe I had some of the ribbing done. I think I showed in the last video. I had a tiny baby mustache of ribbing in this sock, but these are an all done pair as well. This was a Star Wars yarn from Mustache Yarns. This was called Death Star Retirement Party, and it was their color for May the 4th this year. So I started these in May of last year and finished those on January 2nd. Again, there's a lot. We didn't do anything for New Year's, just chilled. Yeah, so these are done. This is my String of Lights pattern, available in my Ravelry shop. All my patterns are heel flap and gusset patterns because that's how I like my socks. And I knit all of my socks top down on Magic Glue. So again, these were done on a US 1 2.25 millimeter Addy Rocket Squared. Now, okay, so yes, Addy Rocket Squareds. So just a heads up that Addy needles don't come in a US 1 that we, like Chalgu users, are used to. They are actually their own separate needle. It is a Addy 2.25 millimeter because their US 1 is a 2.5 millimeter, just so you know. All of mine are a 2.25. And sadly, the unicorns, the ones with the swirly needles, only go to either a 0 or a 2.5. There is no 2.25 unless you want to get flexi flips, which I do not. So there you go. These are all done. 75, sorry, I should have said, these ones are an 80-20 sock base. So that's 80% merino, 20% nylon to play. These are a 75-25 merino, superwash merino and nylon. 4-ply. So that was pair number 2. And then pair number 3, or project number 3, because there is something that is not a sock. I started again, I think also in May or June of last year. I didn't even have the first sock finished when I showed them to you in the last video. So these are again also on my String of Lights pattern. It is another 75-25 merino nylon 4-ply. This is the size medium on a US 1 2.25 millimeter magic loop needle. And these are Totoro and May by Bien Aimee, which I bought from Starlight Knitting Society last year. On the Super Sock, I believe it's called, Ultra Sock. I will put it on here because I threw away the ball band because I'm trying to be better about not hoarding all the ball bands. There you go. These are actually going to go live with Emily of Fangirl Fibers. Yeah, it's a gray with speckles. Gray for Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro, Studio Ghibli. And I say Studio Ghibli, but they're Studio Ghibli inspired. There you go. That was pair number 3. I finished those on January 7th. And I had half of a sock done, so the whole pair took a couple of days. All right, next in finished objects was not a sock, but instead was my Doctor Who doodle hat. So this is the basic Beanie 2 doodle pattern, like base pattern by Jamie Lomax of Pacific Knit Co. And I used the Arctic deck for these and the London deck for the police boxes. So this little stripe right here is not in the chart. The chart is only 8 stitches and my hat circumference needed 12 stitch charts. So I made it work because I didn't want to, the whole point of this was doing the police boxes because this is the Can't remember if this is the Sonic screwdriver or the Doctor Who kit, Doodle kit from Fangirl Fibers. But it's Doctor Who inspired regardless. So I wanted to do blue police boxes. And I have no idea where this pom-pom came from. It was just in my stuff. So it maybe came with a kit. I might have bought it. I don't remember. Again, this project's not that old. I started this project in December, but the pom-pom is from quite some time ago. It's a snap-on faux fur pom-pom. It's got little black tips on it. It's very cute. I am not going to put it on my head because my hair, but it sits up about yay tall. Enough room for a bun underneath without squishing your hair down. So this is my Doctor Who doodle. DK weight, 100% superwash merino. Oh, it has a double brim. I will show you my floats. Ta-da! I don't catch my floats because I don't feel like it. So there are my floats. And there you go. It's a hat. I'm not going to worry about catching my hands on a float and a hat. So there you go. Doctor Who doodle hat. I've worn it several times because it's very cold here right now. Not like super, well, below freezing. I don't think it's been above freezing in days. But it snowed a little yesterday. So it's been cold. So I've been wearing that. Anyway, that was started in December and I finished that on January 5th. So technically I finished the hat before I finished the pair of socks I just showed you. And then literally fresh off the needles, not even published to Instagram yet, are my 10 Years of Fiber Fun socks that I started in June after I went to the Zombie Knit-pocalypse in Minnesota. There is a vlog for that. And this is the Knit Buffalo 718. Hold on one second, I'll look. This is the 716 knit from the Knit Buffalo yarn truck that I got in June. Again, this is my String of Lights pattern, size medium, top down, heel flipping gusset, US 1 2.25 needle. This was an 80-24 ply base. They're very squishy. I had finished the first sock in June and then they got lost in the pile, shocking everyone and no one. And they are all finished and I finished those yesterday, which was January 9th. Okay, these are staying with me. Yeah, so a lot of socks have gotten done. I'm kind of trying to do one bigger project and then like several pairs of socks because there aren't as many big projects in the pile as there are socks. And as much as I'd love to finish all the socks and then show them to you, you would not get a new episode until this time next year because that's how many socks are over there. It's not great. It's not great. Not proud of myself for that. Very proud of myself for finishing things though. So that's exciting. Let's talk about what I'm going to work on next. So we're done with our notebook. I'm gonna put it back where it lives on the couch. There we go. Up next, and of course I'm in the middle of a row, I have a little bit of a deadline knit. We have an event in our family coming up that requires my husband to be out in cold weather for most of a day. So he likes, obviously, to wear the knit socks that I have given him. But as I was doing sock laundry earlier last week, came to the realization I have knit him 3 pairs of socks. We'll have been together for 15 years. In March. And I've knit him 3 pairs of socks. In my own defense, I also knit him a cardigan this year, which I have pictures of I can put in right here as I work on finishing up this flap so I can show you the sock that I'm working on. Okay, so these are for Colin. This is the Strong Jaw color from Critical Hit Dyes from their Vox Machina collection. So this is the Grog Strong Jaw, if you're familiar with the Vox Machina, with a beer mug from Tiddly Bakes. And this is my, you've guessed it, String of Lights pattern. This is the large size for Colin. I'm doing these on regular old Rockets. Still a 2.25 heel flap and gusset. I'm on the heel flap right now. And this is as far as I am on the whole pair. So that event we are doing takes place at the end of the month, so I have some time to get them done, but I like to get them done sooner rather than later. So, and that's living in this bag from Stitching Plaza. This is we kind of call this my D&D bag. Because it's got dragons on it. It's cool, iridescent vinyl bottom with a detachable wristlet or lanyard. Lanyard? Wristlet? Lanyard? Whatever you call it. That's one pair. Next pair is also for Colin. Living in a Fates Thread Pokemon in Socks bag, which I love this bag. Please don't let me be in the middle of the flap on this one. I am. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Okay, so this pair will also be for Colin. This is going to be Knit Picks Static line. The Static line is they're TV inspired self-patterning yarns. I was sent one once as an influencer way before the pre-pandemic, during the pandemic. I can't remember which one. I have the socks. I'll put a picture of them in right here. But I have since then purchased, this one is called Pizza Party, which you'll maybe catch the reference as soon as I get through the flap. I also bought myself the Gummy Bears and Unsolved Mysteries colors. And I was peeking around their website. I didn't order any. We're trying not to buy yarn in the first quarter of 2025 in case we haven't talked about that. But they have put up incoming colors because there's only 2 available right now, and these are similar to Felici where they don't necessarily come back once they sell out. So there we go. Okay, so this is Pizza Party. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles inspired. You can see the self-patterning. It's not striping, it's patterning. And I am this far into the first sock. So it would be nice to be able to get these both done before the end of the month. So that's why these 2 are my next focus. So there we go. And my third choice, I've been trying to pull 3 socks at a time to work on, to like have queued up. I'm trying to only focus on one whip at a time and then move on to the next one. I will do the thing where I finish the first sock and then I'll go finish another first sock and then come back and do the second sock. I don't get second sock syndrome usually, but that has been what's been working best. Oh, and look, I'm in the middle of the round on this as well. So I have 3 pairs of socks and 1 big project that I'm working on. So let me finish this. This is going to be in a Barley Purl bag. I do have a new Barley Purl bag coming. I believe it just shipped today. I got one of their new mini bags, which is supposed to be like a single skein, kind of like sock bag, and I'm very excited about that. So I will definitely show that to you when it gets here. I'm also waiting on do you like me vamping while I'm finishing my ribbing? I'm also waiting on, as a Christmas gift to myself, I purchased a Delaque rucksack in the wax canvas in the mustard color. I have the mini messenger. It was given to me as a birthday gift by Colin a couple of years ago. But we're going to try this one. It's a crossbody and tall and stuff like that. So, okay, I have finished. So this is just a little tiny mustache of ribbing. This is the Winifred Sanderson colorway by Fangirl Fibers. It is an older color. It's not been available for quite some time, but last year now, when we were putting together mystery kits, I found this in our stock and I bought it. So it lives with me now. And here's my first finished sock. String of Lights, size medium, US 1, 2.25 millimeter needle. There you go. I finished this one in October. And this is a pumpkin from, I believe, Tiddly Bakes. So there you go. Little festive pumpkin guy. So that's my third pair I'd like to get done. Living in my spooky Halloween sock bag from Barley Purl. This is the zipper medium with the detachable wristlet. Those are my sock projects. And then I have a big project. The big project does not have to be done by the end of the month, but is just my big project of focus, which is what the hat was. Hat might not be a big project, but it was not a pair of socks. So if I'm in the middle of the row on this one, we're not going to knit through it because that'll take way too long. But this last summer, I got the Fangirl Fibers No Crying in Baseball Advent Calendar. That's what you hear falling on the floor is all the bags. And I started a Habitation throw. So I am halfway through. I did all the colors and I split them in half because they were 20 grams. And I'm officially decreasing. I think this is my corner right here. So this was all the way up to, this is color 12. I think it was 12 colors. Let's look. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It was 12. Sometimes, I think the Halloween ones are 13, but this one was 12. This is the lineup. And I am working my way backwards now. So this one right here is color 12, and now I'm back on color 11, and I'm going to work backwards, back down, and then I will have a Habitation throw when I'm done. I've never finished a Habitation throw. I finished an anthology, as you can see, but I've never finished an anthology or a Habitation, so I'm hopeful for this to be done. Hopefully, I would hope by the end of the month, but I'm not going to make any promises on that. We shall see. Encouragement is always appreciated from you guys. Thank you to everybody who commented on this last video, and on my Instagram post about this. I'm apparently my mother told me that I've been doing this since childhood, where I will start things and not finish them, which isn't true all the time. I do finish things, but I'm very easily distracted, and especially by shiny things and new yarn, and that's how a lot of these came to be, is they were new and then something else new came along and we started that instead. So we've made progress, and that's great. I'm hoping that this finishing mojo keeps up. I have not been tempted to cast on anything new, which is good. Yeah, it's just been a lot of crafting time, which has been really, really great. And I foresee a lot more of it in the future. So hope you had a good week or so. This is kind of where we're going to wrap it up. I'm not focusing on books as hard this year as I did last year. Like, I'm not trying to finish a certain number. I'm just kind of reading what the spirit moves me to read. And lately that's been rom-coms. I have finished 2 books this year. I finished Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borson, I want to say that's who that was. Please hold while I look in my Kindle app to see what I have finished. Books. Challenge details. I have finished, yes, Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borson, and I finished The Last Party by A.R. Torrey, which was a thriller. So that's the 2 books I've read. I'm not super in a rush to finish anything right now. I'm not feeling any specific genre, and so I've just been kind of not reading at the moment, which has been helping with the getting knitting done. Okay, that's enough of me rambling. I hope you've had a good week since we sat down to chat last, and I will see you soon. Bye!